Welcome to the Generational Wealth Podcast. Guys, the rich are getting richer while the poor are getting poorer. And in today's broadcast, I'm going to show you guys why this is happening and how you can create generational wealth for years to come. Okay. I want to show you guys how you can set up new streams of wealth building income that will allow you to create generational wealth for your family for years to come. So please make sure that you smash that like button. It only takes 2 seconds, but it'll go a really long way towards growing this channel. Now, guys, before we start this broadcast, I want to tell you about the worst day of my life. It was 2019, and I was focusing on rebuilding my business at the time. Around that time, my business was sabotaged, and if you know, you know. I was putting together this program for my company, and I got a phone call from my auntie Jackie. Now, my auntie Jackie never calls me. So when she called my line, I knew that it was something. So I answered the phone excited. I said, "Hey, T. Jackie, it's so good to hear your voice. How are you?" She responds, "Not good, Ma. You need to call your dad's phone number. His coworkers gave me a call and told me that he was rushed to the hospital." So I called the hospital. Now, at the time, I wasn't thinking that this was that big of a deal. You know, things happens all the time. But when I called the hospital, they put me on the phone with a social worker. They put me on the phone with the social worker instead of the doctor. She said that the doctor was busy and that he would give me a call as soon as he could. 45 minutes later, I get a phone call. The doctor tells me that my father had passed away of a heart attack. He passed away at 8:55 a.m. at work. When I tell you guys that I was devastated, I had never experienced this level of pain before in my life. And you want to know something crazy? Can you guess the main day and time that most people die in the United States? Monday morning at 8:55 a.m. The reason so many people die around that time is because of the stress that goes into a new work week at a job you can't stand. Why am I sharing this? The reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because my father spent the last minute of his life working at a job while being homeless. My father was poor. And as long as I've known my dad, he's always had a job. This is the reason I'm so passionate to speak on this topic, because I don't want you to go through the same thing that my father did. I don't want you to spend your entire life working yourself into the ground, never knowing how to truly build wealth so that you can enjoy the rest of your life. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and talk about this. Shout out to everybody that's on. Make sure that you leave me a comment. Let me know who you are, your name, the city that you're from, so I could give you a shout out and show you a lot of love. Shout out to everybody that has checked out my free webinar on the 3 keys to financial freedom. Guys, if you have yet to check out this free webinar, you are missing out, because in this webinar, I'm giving you guys the top 3 secrets on how to create passive income. I show you how to stop trading time for money and how you can set up new streams of income to replace your 9-to-5 job. As many of you know, when I was 23, I had paid off over $95,000 in student loan debt 2 years after graduating from college. And then I went on to retire from corporate America at 26 years old to become a real estate investor, entrepreneur, and best-selling author. I put together this free webinar to show you guys how I did it. Make sure that you check that out. I'm going to put the link in the comments below. This podcast is all about creating generational wealth. So if you want to know how to create generational wealth for you and your family, all you got to do is click the link and check it out. Okay. Now, since we talk about creating generational wealth, one of the biggest factors behind generational wealth is business ownership. And that's the reason why on this platform, for any of you guys that decide to become entrepreneurs, I will allow you to promote your business on my platform for free. So if you're here, just leave me a comment. Let me know about your business. Send me some information, and I would be more than happy to promote your content on my channel. Now, before we get into this show, y'all know I got to give a big shout out to my sponsors. I want to thank all of the people that continue to donate to this platform day to day to help keep this show on air. So as always, I got to give a big shout out to my brother Yasha Allah. Y'all know he is definitely a fan favorite of the show. For those of y'all that don't know who Yasha Allah is, this is the senior brother that will come on day after day, night after night. He'll get on camera and he'll talk to you about a lot of the things that he's learned throughout his years and how that applies to building wealth. Definitely want to give a shout out to my sister LA for life. Want to give a shout out to my sister Ariel, Akaman, Lyra Texan the Israelite, my brother Benaiah, all of you beautiful people out there, brothers and sisters who have done a phenomenal job to helping to keep this show on air. I work very hard to make this show as powerful as possible. My job is to give you guys incredible value, but I cannot do that without your support. So I thank you in advance for your sponsorship. If you want to know how to be a sponsor, all you have to do is tap the dollar icon directly below the live chat box. Your sponsorship keeps this show on air. I like to do this show typically 6 days a week. So in order for me to keep going, I need some support from my people, y'all. And as always, whoever makes the highest donation on this broadcast will be the official sponsor of this show. So if you want your name beside the Rich Getting Richer podcast, please make sure that you give your donation. You can either do that via Super Chat, or you could use Cash App or PayPal. The information is below. When y'all see this information at the bottom of the screen right here, it's telling you how you guys can donate through Cash App or PayPal. Or if you're watching this after the broadcast is over, you can still donate. The links to donate are in the description below. Now, y'all, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Enough talking. How many of you guys are wondering why the rich get richer while the poor gets poor? How many of you guys wonder how that happens? I know some of you guys already have ideas on what happens. Maybe you think it's because of the system. Maybe you think it's because the elite are a part of this diabolical plan to keep the masses in poverty while only a few select people can truly thrive. There's a lot of theories as to why the rich get richer while the poor get poorer. And I want to share a few of those in this broadcast. Obviously, my job is to help you build wealth. This is what the Generational Wealth podcast is all about. So instead of you being on the poor side, I'm going to show you how to level up by playing the game just like the top 1%. Some of you may know I own over $1 million worth of real estate, so I happen to know a little bit about this subject. Now, let's look at this article, okay? I want y'all to notice this. With all of the increases in the housing market, CNN is showing that the wealth gap has grown. It says, as home values soar, the wealth gap grows. Homeowners saw massive increases in wealth over the past decade, but most of the gains went to the wealthiest U.S. households. So a lot of people are trying to get in this real estate market, but it's so expensive. They're like, oh my God, I don't have enough money. I can't afford it. And this is one of the many reasons why the rich are getting richer. The housing market is only now being set up for the rich. You damn near got to be rich just to buy a home. So it says homeowners saw massive increases in wealth over the past decade, but most of the gains went to the wealthiest U.S. households. As home prices soared, housing wealth increased by $8.2 trillion over a decade, rising to $24.1 trillion in 2020 from $15.9 trillion in 2010, according to a new report from the National Association of Realtors. But low and middle income households saw a smaller share of the gains. While a majority, 71% of the wealth accumulation went to high income earners, middle income households saw only 26%, and low income households saw just 4%. Home prices skyrocketed last year. 2 regions saw the biggest increases. In addition, home prices have appreciated so rapidly in some metro areas that new low and middle income buyers are priced out of the market entirely. Guys, this is going to be a key lesson. The rich are getting richer because they maintain access to where the money is going. As we read in this article, home prices have appreciated so rapidly in some metro areas that new, low, and middle income buyers are priced out of the market entirely. You don't have the money to play the game. Phoenix saw the biggest price increase over the decade that concluded at the end of 2021 with a 275% increase. Damn. Shout out to Phoenix. Hey, Phoenix came up over the last decade, man. I don't know about y'all. I don't know if there's anybody from Phoenix that's online. If so, leave a comment. If you are a homeowner in Phoenix in 2010, you won. Phoenix saw the biggest price increase over the decade that concluded at the end of 2021 with a 275% increase. It was followed by Atlanta, Las Vegas, Cape Coral, Florida. Y'all see my city, Austin. It ain't listed here, but just know your boy did come up. Okay. It says, and the towns, shout out to Austin, and the towns of Riverside and San Bernardino in California, all of which had increases of more than 200%. So, guys, there are real estate markets all around the US that have grown by over 100%. The article is just talking about the top cities who made the cut of 200% over the past decade. So while everybody is talking about, oh man, the economy is so hard, inflation is on the rise, there's no way that the average person can make it, some people have been adjusting their behavior and winning. In every economic market, there's opportunity. And I'm going to show you guys how to capitalize on the opportunity during this show. All you got to do is smash the like button. Listen good to what I'm about to tell you guys. I'm going to show you how I made over $1 million in real estate alone just by following the secrets of the top 1%. It tells us here about the top cities that had the biggest increases. It says these escalating home values were no doubt beneficial to homeowners and home sellers. However, as these markets flourish, middle-income wage earners face increasingly difficult affordability issues and are regrettably being priced out of the home buying process. Now, some of you guys may have checked out the show that I did yesterday about why the housing market will keep getting worse. When we were growing up, we were all sold the American dream of buying the nice house, having a job that came with a 401k or a pension plan, and you would just live the rest of your life in peace. That's a thing of the past.
Nope.
No more pensions.
Nope.
No more. You could work at an average job and still have a nice house with a white picket fence.
Nope.
That day is done. The middle class is being pushed out of home ownership. There's no way that you can get into this market without having some money. And this is the reason why I always say on this platform, creating generational wealth is not so that way you could just look at money like Scrooge McDuck. Generational wealth is about you having the options to provide a lifestyle that you desire for you and your family. There's going to be a point for a lot of millennials where you're going to build a family and never have a home. So you got to think about, how do I plan steps ahead? How do I put myself in a position to where I can give my family the life that I want? Now it's talking about the benefits of home ownership. Home ownership is often the leading source of wealth among families, and its benefits can be powerful. Owning a home continues to be a proven method for building long-term wealth. Home values generally grow over time, so homeowners begin the wealth building process as soon as they make a down payment and move to pay down their mortgage. Now, guys, I'm going to dissect these paragraphs a little bit. I want to talk about what the article is really saying when it talks about home ownership often being the leading source of wealth among families. Home ownership is one of multiple ways to create wealth. It is not the only way. This is the reason why it says often the leading source. A lot of millennials are making money through cryptocurrency. In fact, 1/3 of all millennial millionaires got to that level of wealth based upon their crypto portfolio. So we got to understand, even if you are not in the home ownership process, you can still build wealth without it. However, this is just letting you know that home ownership is a cornerstone. Even when you think about things like redlining and some of the obstacles that our culture had in getting homes in certain neighborhoods, all of that was due to the fact that home ownership has always been known as a vehicle to create long-term wealth. As the article shows, home values generally grow over time. Why does it say generally? Because we all remember the housing crash. Don't think, oh, I could just buy whatever home for whatever money and then I'm going to get rich.
Nope.
There is a method to this madness. If you want to build wealth through real estate, you've got to know what you're doing. The last thing that you want to do is make a lot of mistakes with a lot of zeros behind it. Home values generally grow over time, so homeowners begin the wealth building process as soon as they make a down payment and move to pay down their mortgage. This is talking about the building of equity. When you get into a home, beyond the time that you close on that house, you've now started the process of building equity. Equity represents the difference between how much you owe on the home versus how much your house is worth. Notice this, and we're going to talk about this in detail today. The Black home ownership rate is now lower than it was a decade ago. Let me stop sharing real quick so I can look at y'all on the screen. The Black home ownership rate is lower than it was a decade ago. What are we doing? I digress. Back to the article. Guys, make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure that you share this on your social media platform. We're talking about why the rich keep getting richer. Okay. Please make sure that you donate. It says the black homeownership rate is now lower than it was a decade ago. For example, if you bought a typical single family home 10 years ago for the median price of 162 $600,000, you're likely to have accumulated $229,400 in housing wealth, according to NAR. Let me read that again. If you bought a typical single family home 10 years ago for the median price of $162,600, you're likely to have accumulated $229,400 in housing wealth, according to NAR. Though the middle class home ownership rate fell overall, so this is talking about the middle class completely, not just black folks. The number of middle income homeowners increased in over half of the 917 metro areas in NAR's analysis. The reason why this is important to see is because the middle class is being done away. The middle class is being pushed out of key vehicles to create wealth. And this is the reason why I always tell you guys, you're either going to be on one side or the other. You're either going to be on the side of the haves or the have nots. So you got to ask yourself which side you want to be. In order to determine which areas had a rising middle class, NAR looked for housing markets that had the greatest growth in middle income owner-occupied homes between 2010 and 2020. Researchers define a middle-class household as one earning an income of more than 80% to 200% of the area median income. Now, y'all, I'm not going to bore you by going through the entire article. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what this is saying. This article is sharing big secrets on how the rich get richer while the poor get poorer. The rich have access to things that grows their wealth. The poor is being pushed out of having access to things in order to create wealth in the first place. It says the top 10 cities with increasing middle income households during that decade were Phoenix, Austin, Nashville, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Orlando, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, and Tampa. This is one of the reasons why I bought a real estate investment property in Austin, because of the influx of middle income households that were coming to the city. I knew that if I got in early enough, I would position myself to be able to rent out to tenants with middle income backgrounds that would pay rent consistently over time. It says middle income households in these growing markets have seen phenomenal gains in price appreciation. Given the rapid migration and robust job growth in these areas, I expect these markets to continue to see impressive price gains. Now, I want you to notice this. This is very important. Even though the rich are getting richer while the poor are getting poorer, the article makes it known that the middle class still reaps the benefits of having job growth in key areas. In major cities throughout the US, the middle class has access to job growth. But for some reason, despite job growth, the poor are still getting poorer. Guys, this is when you have to start asking yourself, why is this happening? How is it that people are having more access to better jobs, but yet and still it's that much easier for the average person to be poor, to not build wealth. How is it that a job does not translate into wealth creation? That's how you need to be interpreting this. It's saying that middle income people are having access to more jobs in better areas, but yet and still they're pushed out from one of the key levers of building wealth. That's real estate. So now it talks about the challenges for middle and low income buyers. It talks about other cities that's out there popping for the middle class. It talks about how there was these different cities that had homes that went up in value. Like I said, we're not going through the whole thing. I just want to get some of the final key points. It says while middle income homeowners increased in number over the decade, they represented a smaller share of homeowners in 2020 at 43%, down from 45% in 2010. The share of high income house homeowners grew, rising to 30%, up from 16.4% in 2010. That is 11.1 million more high income households in 2020 compared to 2010. Guys, this is so important. The analysts are trying to show you that more people are getting wealthy every single day. Contrary to popular opinion, I know I gotta keep myself together. This is really starting to get me going, guys. Y'all gotta bear with me. Do y'all realize that there are 1,700 new millionaires in America every single day? Do y'all realize that over the past 10 years, 11 million people became high income earners? This is what you have to see. So don't think, okay, well, the rich are getting richer, but that's just talking about a smaller amount. There are some people that's coming from being poor into rich, right? They're going from rags to riches, just like myself. I grew up in Los Angeles not having real wealth. But over time, God blessed me to be able to build up a legacy. I'm trying to show you guys how to do the same thing. It says the share of high income homeowners grew, rising to 30%, up from 16.4% in 2010. That's almost double the amount. That is 11.1 million more high income households in 2020 compared to 2010. And this is the thing I would always be telling my wife. You know, when I would go and look at all this real estate property to invest in, I would ask myself, who's going to buy up all of these homes? How many people actually have this kind of money to be living in these different suburban areas? I'm watching people, getting homes 600,000, 700,000, 800,000, putting 100,000 down more than the asking price. And I would say to myself, man, you know what? I grew up always thinking that the majority of the people in America are poor. So why is it that these builders are building all of these affluent homes when there's only but a few people in the world to buy them? This is where your mindset has to change. This is where you have to start to realize that you've been programmed to think in scarcity instead of abundance. Scarcity means there's only but one or two people that have access to wealth, and everybody else is in the poorhouse. Yes, there is a top 1% that makes this society run. They control and influence what happens in the marketplace. However, we are living in a country, y'all, where in 10 years, the number of high income homeowners grew. So it is not pushing you out if you want to be in the game. Now, if you want to stay living reckless, spending your last dollar, being on some YOLO stuff, then yes, you are going to get pushed out of this marketplace.
Nope.
You are going to be one of those people that may never have access to buying a home. But if you want to be a part of the 11 million people that went from low or middle income to high, you need to follow exactly what I'm going to tell you on this podcast. I'm going to show you guys how you can make the transition. It says in this article, home ownership is rewarding in so many ways and can serve as a vital component in achieving financial stability. Now we must focus on increasing access to safe, affordable housing and ensuring that more people can begin to amass and pass on the gains from home ownership. Guys, what is it talking about when it says more people can begin to amass and pass on the gains from home ownership? That's talking about generational wealth. This is the reason why I have this channel. I'm on a mission to help more people amass wealth so that you could pass it on to future generations. Now, let's talk about this. I've got some very key talking points that I need to go over with y'all on this broadcast so that you will know exactly how to get on the side of high income earners that create wealth. We looked at the article, and one of the first things that you got to take away from this is how to create exponential growth. When it comes to your money, you have to think in terms of exponential growth. This is the reason why real estate and owning a business is so important, because these vehicles allows you to grow your money exponentially rather than linearly. Key point, take this down. Linear income is whenever you will work at a 9-to-5 job, you'll get an annual raise of about 2 to 3%, and you'll watch your income increase by a little bit year over year. That's linear. With exponential growth, you can see your income 50x in 12 months. The rich get richer because they create income streams and assets that gives them exponential growth. They are not tied to a system that only allows their money to grow at a slow pace. So again, if you were to think about this visually, linear growth is just kind of steady. It goes up from year to year. This is typically what it looks like when you get a raise at your job. But if you own a business, you getting exponential growth on your income could look a lot like this. See, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. You're working hard on that business. And then overnight, it just shoots all the way up. That is the difference between owning a business versus working for one. You need to start to expose yourself to new streams of income. And this is the reason why the average millionaire owns 7 different streams of income, because there's different kinds of ways to make money. You can open yourself up to exponential growth opportunities. You could still have a stream of income that's linear, but you don't want to make all of your money off of a linear pay. You want to be able to open yourself up to something where, without you even having to work, you get a 20x gain overnight. I was telling you guys on yesterday's broadcast, from January until now, I have watched my real estate property in North Austin grow by tens of thousands of dollars in appreciation. And I'm not even talking about where I'm located right now. You got to start putting your money in the right place so you can start getting exponential instead of linear. Let me look at these comments, y'all. Start leaving me comments. Let me know what's what. I know that y'all are tapped in. Y'all are plugged in. You're like, but Uzziah, I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm soaking up the game. But you know I want this to be interactive. I don't want to do a show and the energy's like this. I don't want that. When y'all come on this show, y'all got to be commenting, y'all got to be tapping in, you got to be smashing that like button, and most importantly, donate if you want to see this show on air. Ariel said, oh my gosh, that is crazy that our community's home ownership rate is lower than a decade ago. That's not crazy. It's sad. It is truly sad how much information is on the web showing us how to level up by the minute. And yet, of the $1.6 trillion that we make per year, we spend that money in places that have nothing to do with our legacy building. It has nothing to do with creating generational wealth. It has nothing to do with leveling up. It is so ridiculous how there is all this money that is out here and it is just coming right in and going right out, all because we don't know how to create generational wealth. This is the reason why I wanted to do this show. I told you guys at the start of this broadcast, I watched my father work his life away without having all of these types of ownerships of assets that would have allowed him to retire at an earlier age. I used to always tell my dad, hey, dad, don't you want to retire, man? Are you sure you want to work this late into the game? No. I got to wait for my Social Security benefits to kick in. How many people in the top 1% are waiting for Social Security? See, you got to realize that getting rich is not about you working. My father was a very hard worker. But the top 1% know certain things about how money is really made that the remaining 99% of people in America have no idea what is going on. And to think that this information is surfacing on the web right now for free by people like myself who own over $1 million worth of assets, for our community to still be stuck on this BS, even when you're getting the information directly from somebody that looks like you, is just absolutely ridiculous, man. Y'all got to spare me for a quick moment because this is the type of stuff, man, that really grinds my gears. We will have our young boys and girls grow up in the hood and say, oh, man, you know what? Building wealth, that's just only for those other people over there. We are living in one of the most opportunistic times in the world. How many of us growing up had access to know the thoughts of Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, people that was really out here getting it? How many of us knew about a Bob Johnson, about the Dame Dashes of the world, people that were out here in our community making millions and billions and showing other people how to do it? And still, with all of this, we still asleep. Let's please wake up, my people. Let's please start to learn the importance of financial literacy so that we can provide for our households, so that we can have something to pass down. I'm tired of seeing Black people die from one generation to the next, handing down a Louis Vuitton belt and a pair of Jordans. It is time for us to truly get competitive in this game. Back to the broadcast. So, when we talk about how to build wealth, why the rich get richer? The rich get richer because they're putting money into things that grows exponentially. Real estate grows exponentially. Business grows exponentially. If you were living in Phoenix in 2010, if you held on to that property up until now, you have had an exponential return on the growth of your household. And now what you need to do is take that money and continue to make wise decisions. Think in terms of exponential growth. Linear is at a 9 to 5. Business gives you exponential opportunities. You know one thing? Let me give you guys an even better example. I remember when I sold my first course in my online business. I made more money from this course that I was selling for $47. I made more money in 1 week selling that course than I made in about a month and a half working in corporate America. Oh, and in corporate America, I had a good position. I was a recruiting manager. I was the president of the Black Employee Network at HP Austin. I was an IT project manager. I had the top level project manager certifications. I had a good position in corporate America making good money. And in spite of all of that, when I set up my own business, in 1 week of me selling a $47 product, I made more money after a week and a half than I made in over a month in a corporate position. Same person, I'm just putting my energy in different places. Had I gone to my job and asked for a 25% raise, they would have laughed me out of the room. Using the same amount of time, money, and energy, in some cases less, I could deploy that towards my business and I could walk away with a 50% increase in income. You just have to know how to play the game. So now when we talk about how to build your income, how to build wealth, I want you to understand this is how the rich get richer. They don't lock themselves into a fixed income stream. They may have one stream of income that is fixed, but I guarantee you they have other income streams that makes them a killing. They don't focus on fixed income. They focus on creating assets that allows them to make more money without trading their time for money. If you are working at a job, you're already backed behind however amount of time you can put into the position. What do I mean? Some of you guys are listening to this and you're thinking about an hourly wage. Yes. You are also backed behind time at a job because you get paid based upon an annual salary. When you are paid $50,000 a year, that's an employer telling you, hey, no matter how hard you work, you are not going to make more than $50,000 a year. Your income potential is capped by time. The rich get richer because they create income streams that is exclusive of time. It has nothing to do with hours. It is all about units sold. But then when it comes to the poor, the only way that they make money at all is through exchanging time. And because there's only but so much time, you can only make but so much money. Since there's only but 24 hours in a day, even the hardest working of people on an hourly wage salary can only make but that much money, 24 hours. You got to take your money away from time. This is the reason why the poor gets poor. And if you notice, what's growing faster? The amount of wages or the price of the housing market? The housing market is growing 4 times higher than the amount that's given in corporate wages. All of this information you can find on Google. If you're going to keep up with this economy, you have to have income vehicles that doesn't trade your time for money, okay? Now, one thing that I also want to point out on this, guys, is when I was making money from my course when I first started, a lot of the money that I was making was while I was sleeping. I did the work up front and then I put my products on a website that would allow me to make money 24 hours a day. If I can do it, so can you. If you're not making any money based upon residual income, you're not making any real money. I'm not saying this to be boastful about money. I'm saying this because I'm trying to educate you so that way you can provide better for your family. I'm tired of looking at these statistics that's talking about how our numbers are so low. I'm trying to see our community level up. This is the reason why I'm putting this content on the internet for free. If I can do this coming from Los Angeles, I was homeless. If I can do it, so can you. And now I want to tell you guys about one of the points that we talked about yesterday on the show. Let me look at these comments real quick. Please make sure that you smash the like button. We're talking about how the rich are getting richer while the poor are getting poor. Make sure that y'all leave me a comment. Let me know what y'all think about today's broadcast. Okay. Yesterday, I did a show and I gave out a secret that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac is looking to raise the amount that you could borrow for a conventional loan on a home by up to $1 million in key places. What this means is in this year, 2022, you're going to have access to be able to potentially borrow up to $1 million, also that you can make a wise decision with real estate investing. Yesterday, I was talking about how you have a golden opportunity to capitalize on that $1 million conventional loan by putting it towards an investment property rather than a regular home. The more money that you can get through the loan, if you can afford it, the more that you can make in passive income every single month. Okay. When I have my real estate property in North Austin, my tenants will pay down on that mortgage for me. I'll take out the loan, but I will have tenants to cover the mortgage, which will allow me to generate passive income every single month. If you want to do the same, you got to get into this game. Okay. One thing that I definitely want to point out to you guys is wealth is a numbers game. If you invest big numbers, you can walk away with big returns. Okay. See, this is what we got to understand about why the rich are getting richer. The rich are getting richer because they understand the math. They understand that if they have access to $500,000, they can take that $500,000 and invest it, and that $500,000 can make them 500,000 more. But if you don't put in any money, you put in little numbers, 99% of the time you're going to walk away with little numbers. This is why you need to make the most of your money when you get it. Okay. And one thing that's very important, very, very, very important, the rich get richer because they understand that the economy expands. They understand that wherever we are right now is not where the economy is going to be in the next 10 to 20 years. So they put their money in the right places now. So that way, in 10 years from now, they can reap the benefits. I'm going to show you guys something that's going to blow your mind. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. I want y'all to see this on the screen. Okay. This is a chart of the real GDP of the United States year by year. How many of y'all was born in the 80s? I know I'm an 80s baby. Shout out to all the 80s babies that's out there. I want to show you guys what the US GDP looked like at the end of 1980. At the end of 1980, the United States GDP, the amount of money that was spent, was $6.82 trillion. This was the amount of money that was flowing from the United States. Do y'all want to see something? When you look at where we are now, right? At the end of 2021, the United States had a gross domestic product of $19.81 trillion. From the time that we were born to the time of right now, the US economy has tripled in value. And you want to know something? All of those trillions of dollars, because the economy has 3x since 1980. Where did all of that money go? Because it had to go into somebody's pocket who got the difference between the, let's go back to it so you can see with your own eyes. December 31st, 1980, $6.82 trillion. Now, December 31st, 2021, $19.81 trillion. The economy has stretched, tripled in its size. Where did all of that money go? And why don't you have any part of it? This is why the rich get richer and the poor gets poorer. Do you realize right now that there are people that were living in 1980 that capitalized off of this? There were people that this wasn't just theory. They actually took the time to sit down and say, hey, where's the US GDP at right now? I project that by the year 2000, it'll be this much. I'm going to put money into this market. By 2020, it's going to be this much. These people are playing the game, guys. And the thing about it is, they are no smarter than you. They're no more hardworking. This is why I keep giving you the story of my father. My father worked from sunup to sundown his entire life. But the thing that he did not have knowledge of is how the top 1% was able to estimate the annual spending in this country year after year and say, okay, if the spending is going up year after year, look at the numbers. If the spending from year after year is constantly going up, if people are spending more and more money, how do I have some of that money go towards me and my family? Far beyond that of a job where, you could walk away with $40,000, $50,000 a year. I'm talking about having access to the real wealth that the top 1% knows how to get. Guys, this is not rocket science. You simply have to be willing to commit the same way that we commit to everything else under the sun. Commit to, Nicki Minaj. Commit to, who scored, 30 points in the last NBA game. The same way that we will know all of this random trivia, why wouldn't we take the time to know how we can secure a legacy for our families? This is what we must do in order to survive. Now, again, like I said, wealth is a numbers game. From 1980 to 2022, we have watched this economy take off. And guess what? From the year 2022 over the next 40 years, somebody else is going to prosper. Why? Because the economy is going to triple all over again. If America's still here, if Christ hasn't returned, we're looking at the economy growing. So the question is this: if the economy triples again over the next 40 years into $60 trillion, how much of that money will be yours? Y'all want to know something that's so crazy? When you put this into perspective, 1% of 1 trillion is 10 billion. So even if you had access to 1% of a $1 trillion market, you would have $10 billion right there. $60 trillion is going into the marketplace over the next 40 years. You see how people are spending their money? So my thing is, if you were to capture just 0.00000000000000000001% of all of the money that is spent throughout this country year after year, you would be a millionaire. But most people don't think like this because they've never been taught to do so. This is the reason why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. If I were to start this broadcast and I'm like, okay, hey, the US GDP is this amount of money, you wouldn't care. And you would never think, oh, okay, $1 trillion, never in a million years would that happen. But if somebody came up to you and said, hey, if you really gave this a shot, you worked hard, you learned the things that you needed to learn, you started to improve your personal development and your professional development, you went out here and set up a business. Do you think that given your skills and talents that God has given you, do you think that you could access and capture 0.0000000000000001%, less than 1% of all of the money that is spent in this country in 1 year, 1 freaking year? Do you think that with all of your gifts and talents, you may have a shot at being able to access that? If you have a fraction of self-esteem, the answer is yes. You know that God has given you so many gifts beyond your efforts. There's so much potential that you guys have right now. You just got to tap into it. That's what Warren Buffett is doing. That's what Elon Musk is doing. That's what Richard Branson is doing. That's what Jeff Bezos is doing. The question is, when is it going to be you? Guys, I'm not saying this because the goal of every person should be millionaire. I'm saying this because I'm trying to show you guys how poorly we were taught to think. We were taught to think poor because if all we did was adjust our thinking, we would see all of the opportunity for us to truly get ahead, to truly be able to create generational wealth. Listen, if people are trying to make rockets to put a man on the moon, you trying to tell me you can't make a business that'll get 0.00000001% of the money that's spent in the United States alone, even though God is blessing you with the opportunity to have access to the internet where you can reach countries all over the world. You don't even just have to get United States money. You can get Europe money, Australia money, China money, Russia tripping. So I don't know if you're going to be able to get Russian money. The U.S. ain't trying to deal with Russia like that. But there's so much access and there's so much opportunity. It just really baffles me why we don't tap into this. This is why the rich get richer and the poor get poor, because they think this way. This is the reason why Napoleon Hill made a book called Think and Grow Rich, because you could work yourself all day long, but working alone will not make you rich. You have to think like a wealthy person. You have to think like a person who wants to win. And the reason that wealthy people got to the riches that they have is because they know how to position themselves to make money work in their favor over time. They invest in the right assets and enjoy the benefits. I tell you guys all the time, when I went to Austin, I didn't have no real estate. I was loaded with almost $100,000 in student loan debt. And I could have been like everybody else. Oh my God, student loans. I'm just going to keep Sally Mae on my back until I die. I could have been like the rest of my friends that spent all of their money traveling, all of their money shopping, all of their money getting a brand new car. Instead, I took my money from my 9 to 5 and I put it towards getting out of debt, starting my own business, and investing in real estate. I worked at a 9 to 5 in corporate America, and I used every last dollar to try to help further myself, my family, and my community. Hence the reason why I'm on this platform now. The things that I was doing back then positioned me to be able to create this channel so I could show more of you how to create generational wealth. But there's visions that you have for your life too. This isn't about me. I'm just showing you how I went from being $100,000 in the red to having over $1 million worth of real estate in my 30s. If I can do it, so can you. And people create generational wealth by their positioning. It's not by anything else. They sit down, they look, they see where the economy is going. They say, oh man, if I can get in here just right now and work hard enough, if all I do is just let the money sit there, in 5 years, I'll be here. In 10 years, I'll be here. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that there was at least one person in the United States that knew that Phoenix was about to blow up? Do you think that there was at least one person out of the millions of Americans in this country that sat down one day and said, you know what? I'm going to make my money through real estate. I think that people are going to start moving to Arizona, getting out of some of these other expensive places, and I'm going to get a property here. It might not be, $1 trillion, but I'm going to get something, the best that I can get. Do you think there was at least one person who had enough foresight to say, Phoenix is going to blow up, Vegas is going to blow up, Austin is going to blow up? Yeah, people did have that foresight. I was one of them, and I'm trying to show you guys how you can do it too. A lot of you guys see different opportunities that are blowing up, but if you're not getting invested in it, there's no way that you can capitalize. The problem is poor people don't even think that this is possible. They think that they're going to be poor all their lives. A lot of people associate poverty with being woke or more spiritual. A lot of people, they grew up in a culture where they had a family or friends that glorified poverty. So it's not about money. It's about your mindset. And for those of you that really struggle with your mindset, I want you to check out this book called The Magic of Thinking Big. It's by an author named David Schwartz. This is a game-changing book that will help you think and dream bigger, because if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. Check out the book, guys. This is one of those books that I read to keep myself focused every couple years. And like I said, you don't need to be a zillionaire. You just need to work hard enough to position your way into a scenario where you don't get pushed out of the market like what's happening right now. I don't want you to be the type of person who you want to buy a home for you and your family. You want to have kids. You want to give your children a better life than what was given to you growing up. But, oh, daddy can't because daddy didn't take the time to learn how generational wealth was created. Oh, I'm a single mom and I want to be able to do better, but I can't do better because I don't know the first thing about raising my income. That's why I'm getting pushed out of the housing market. All of this content is on here for free, y'all. All of this content is on here for free. Y'all ain't donated nothing yet on this show, so we know all this stuff is for free. How are you going to level up in the year to come? How are you going to take the time now to strategize and set up your blueprint? Set it up. It doesn't cost any money to think. It doesn't cost any money to dream. If you can watch this, if you can hear what I am saying, then that means that it is possible for you to create wealth because you're being given everything step by step. The question is, are you going to do it? Because you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Let's talk about this real estate. If you're going to grow your money in real estate, you need to be tracking which areas are going to make the most money over the next 10 years. Remember what I was saying about Phoenix? How many of y'all are going to be moving there? You heard what we looked at in the article about Vegas? How many of y'all are going to set up some real estate? It's shown, the article is showing you where the gold rush is happening. The question is, are you going to make the sacrifices necessary to benefit from it? You can know the information all day, but it won't be until you take the next step. What I want you guys to do after watching tonight's podcast is I want you to study the top rental markets in the US. Where are the cities that people are making the most money through being a landlord in real estate? I want you guys to research what are the top cities where housing prices are getting massive ROIs. Look at what we saw in the article. 200% increases in select cities. You need to start Googling this information. Damn, you got YouTube and Google and all these other things. What are we using this information for? To look at a damn cat video? What are we using it for? We done already spent enough time watching foolishness. We done already seen enough episodes of Power and Game of Thrones. Now is the time for us to learn how we can be in positions of power, okay? So I want you guys to spend this time researching the market. Like I keep telling y'all, the rich get richer because they know how to position themselves to be ahead years down the line. So let's just think about this. Let's think clearly, guys, okay? And let's make this practical. Based upon everything that we went over in this podcast, somebody might have bought a home for $200,000 and made $600,000 from that exact same house 10 years later. Can you afford a $200,000 house? Let's start from wherever it is that you are. Let's start not at the finish line. Let's start where you are right now. Let's see how we can connect the dots to get you to where you need to be, okay? The first thing that you need to understand if you're trying to create wealth through real estate is that your money means nothing if you're not putting it towards real estate, okay? Okay. More millionaires have been created through real estate than almost any other industry. You have to understand, we got all this flex culture going on. Look at my nice car. Look at my watch. Look at my chain. Look at where I'm traveling. We got all this flex culture going on, but our home ownership rate is lower than it was 10 years ago. Help it make sense to me. How is it that we're out here funding all this money, making it rain, popping bottles? But for some reason, I got to go, man, don't get me back on that GDP chart. Don't even let me look to see how much money the US was spending back in 2010 versus where it is in 2020. There's more money that's being spent, circulated in the economy every single day. You got trillions of dollars being circulated in the economy, but you're the one that's circulating it rather than capturing it. See, the rich get richer because they're going to the water with a fishing net. You're just looking at the water. So when the wealthy, your Warren Buffetts, your Elon Musk, your Jeff Bezos, when they look at the GDP, they start thinking about how to build businesses that will allow them to capture some of the money that's in circulation. The job of a dollar is to travel. Money is not meant to stay static somewhere. Even when you put your money in a bank, the bank is taking your money and putting it somewhere else because they're loaning it out to other people so they can earn interest. Money is always changing hands. When money changes hands out of your pocket, do you have any system for money to come back in? Do you have it set up so you can capture it on a passive level? This is the reason why on my business, you'll see a website. You'll see order pages. You'll see all these different things where I can have systems to collect revenue without me having to be physically present to collect it. Okay. You guys got to get in the game. When you look at something like Netflix, you're not seeing people knock on doors. Hey, I'm the owner of Netflix. Can you pay me your $15.99? No, they have systems in place to capture money. This is why we have to be producers rather than consumers. We're always consuming and losing money, but we're never building something to capture it. This is why our net worth is projected to be $0 by 2050. This is why, even though there are tens of trillions of dollars projected to come out into the marketplace year by the year 2050, we are projected to have a net worth. I'm saying within our community, a net worth of $0. Why? Because we got a lot more debt than we have assets. We got, even for the best of us that's trying to do things with our lives, taking out money for business loans, student loans, car loans, payday loans. We have all these loans, but we have no assets to build wealth. And let me take a time to acknowledge the first sponsor of the chat. Thank you so much, my sister Lupe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you guys so much for donating and supporting this podcast. It is greatly appreciated. Okay, for those of you guys that want to donate to keep this show going, please tap the dollar icon directly below the live chat box. Okay, I try to give you guys as much powerful content as I can, but I cannot do this without your help. There needs to be more of us out here encouraging people to think on higher levels. I'm trying to do it, but I need you guys' support in return. Okay, it costs money to make these shows run, the tech equipment that's needed. I'm always adding more into this broadcast, so please donate, donate, donate. Y'all can see the Cash App and PayPal information is below. If you want to donate through there, feel free to do so. Lupe said, may the Lord bless you and your beautiful family tenfold for dropping these gems. Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate that, Lupe. And I pray the exact same for you. Okay. So listen, y'all, we got to see how we can have a seat at the table. The economy is expanding, and people are going to be making money from that expansion on autopilot. The question is, will it be you? Why not you? Why is it that everybody else is going to be out here making this money automatically, but it's not going to be you? Don't be your own worst enemy, okay? If you're trying to create generational wealth, you have to first understand it's not about income, it's about wealth. Owning real estate, businesses, stocks, and cryptocurrency can help you build generational wealth. Would you be surprised if I told you that Warren Buffett's salary is $100,000? Some of y'all make more than that every year, but you don't have Warren Buffett money. I ain't got Warren Buffett money. Warren Buffett is not focused on income. He's focused on wealth. He positioned himself in such a way where it's not just about your take-home pay, because as long as you make a certain amount of money, you can furnish a pretty good lifestyle for yourself. Buffett is more focused on creating empires through his efforts rather than money that's here today and gone tomorrow. Okay, there's so many people that you see, whether it be celebrities or all these high earning entertainers, they might make a good amount of money, but it's gone in a matter of years. Why? Because all they knew how to do was create income instead of building wealth. These are two different things. Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, when Sam Walton was living, he drove a pickup truck. Do you know that this man's family makes $70,000 a minute? This man's family, how he created generational wealth. The Walton family, his heirs, make $4 million per hour based upon something that this man built. Sam Walton didn't focus on income. Sam Walton focused on building wealth. We have to know the difference. The rich focus on building wealth, while the poor only focuses on income. You got all these guys out here, your Jeff Bezos, your Elon Musk, you're this and you're that. They're creating wealth building assets. Meanwhile, what are we doing? Oh, well, you know what? If I could get, just an extra $2 at the job, I'll be good. We only think about income. We got to start thinking on higher levels. But see, this is how it really works. The rich use income to build wealth. The poor use income for lifestyle. That's a big difference. The rich use income to build wealth. The poor use income for lifestyle. Now, some of you guys might be like, oh, but Uzziah, don't you see how many millionaires and billionaires are living a lavish lifestyle? For the ones that maintain that life year after year without losing it all, even when you see them living lavish, they're only spending a small percentage of all of their money. But here we go, poor mindset. We will spend all of our money and go into debt to spend more. We will wipe through all of the income that we make. We'll then go out, take out additional loans so that way we can spend more. There is a big difference between income and wealth. And let me say something to be very clear for all of the doubters out there. 80% of all millionaires are first generation self-made. 80% of all the millionaires got there on their own. So don't think, oh, well, you know what? It's because everybody got there because they come from old money and they had a grandfather that was a master on the plantation. Not every millionaire in America got to wealth through old money. 80% of the people that are currently millionaires right now today were the very first ones in their family to get on that level. They were not born with a silver spoon in their mouth. And I just want you to, before you start doubting that, I just want you to consider something. That mindset that everybody that's rich got there because they were born rich is keeping you from building wealth, because it programs you to believe that you will never get there or to even try, all because you weren't born rich. Michael Jackson wasn't born rich. LeBron James wasn't born rich. They had talents that brought them wealth. Your gift will make room for you. Floyd Mayweather wasn't born rich. His father went to jail. These men, they took the gifts that they had, they delivered it to the marketplace. They made wise business decisions to grow their wealth over time. 80% of all millionaires are first generation self-made. There was no millionaire in the Jackson family before Michael Jackson. There was no millionaire in the Mayweather family before Floyd Mayweather. There was no millionaire in the James family before LeBron James. So if all of these guys can do it in their gift, why won't you be committed to your gift long enough to be able to provide for you and yours? You don't have to be a trillionaire, but you don't want to be in a situation where you can't have access to nothing because you're so poor, you keep getting pushed out, and you're only going to be able to provide for your family if the government gives you a handout. That's not the place you want to be, y'all. I say this because I love you and I want us all to level up, okay? And I'm a firm believer that there's at least one of you guys that are out there that are listening to this that says, man, you know what? He's right. God gave me gifts. My gift ain't to just sit up and watch everybody else ball out. I'm going to watch myself ball out for the next 12 months. I'm going to take this gift. I'm going to turn it into something. If I'm good at cooking, I'm going to take this cooking, I'm going to turn it into a cooking business. I'm gonna be one of the next people that's making, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars by owning my own restaurant chain. They're no better than you are. It's just about mindset, guys. Okay. So we're going to close this thing out and we're going to talk about 6 different things that the rich do to get richer while the poor gets poor. Number one, they focus on investing. We've been saying that over and over on this podcast. They put their money towards assets and not liabilities. Number two, they build businesses that can run 24 hours a day. The person that gets wealthy from McDonald's is not the person that works in a drive-through. The person that gets wealthy through McDonald's is the person who is the owner of the systems. You need to focus on building wealth through the machines that you make, not based upon your personal efforts. And this is one of the biggest things that keeps a lot of people poor. A lot of people end up getting poor because when they think about making more money, the first thought that comes in their mind, how do I put in more hours? How do I go back to school? How do I run myself that much more into exhaustion so I could just make a little bit more money? Wealthy people don't think that way. They're not thinking about how they can kill themselves to just make a few more dollars. They're thinking about how can I deliver value and what systems can I create that will deliver value for people even when I'm not working. Somebody created YouTube. This is a system. The person that created YouTube is not working 24 hours a day. You got to know the difference between how the rich and the poor think. When poor people think about making more money, they want to give more of themselves. When the rich get richer, they think about improving their systems. Okay. This is the reason why Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, he's focused on shipping things to you same day or very next day. He's not focusing on how do I make 30 hours in a day. He's focused on how do I deliver value to you better and faster? How do I create better systems? Shout out to my brother Rick Judah for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, my brother. Rick Judah said, keep building our people. Much appreciated. Hey, I'm trying, man. I'm trying, but I do need the support, man. I do need the support. For all of us struggle streamers out here, who don't have a billion and trillion followers, I just try to get up every single day, put out as much content as I can that's of as much value to you. There should be a lot of people that are soaking up these gems. So I pray that if you are new to this channel, please make sure that you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Please make sure that you share this podcast with more people so we can have others throughout the world learn how to create generational wealth. The brother Rick said, keep leading the charge. I'm trying to follow the men that got it. You rocking it in this lane. Thank you, brother. That really means a lot, man. Always love your spirit, my brother. Keep up all the good work. You're definitely an inspiration to me as I am to you. Ariel said, heavy. The rich use income to build wealth. The poor use income to build lifestyle. Facts. In fact, when you read the book, The Millionaire Next Door, it shows you that a large portion of people that drive luxury cars are not millionaire wealthy people. It's people that are trying to look like they're rich. It's a difference between looking rich and being rich. And on this podcast, I'm trying to show you how to really have it rather than perpetrate the fraud. Now, let's get back to this. How the rich get richer. We talked about how they focus on investing, putting their money towards assets and not liabilities. They build businesses that can outwork them. Nobody wants to work 24 hours a day, day after day, but your systems will. That's why you need to place the focus on your systems rather than yourself. Number 3, the rich get richer because they limit their tax burdens. Most of us don't realize that 50% of all of your take-home pay from your 9 to 5 over your adult lifetime goes towards taxes. So half of the money that you work so hard for is going to Uncle Sam. You never even see that money. The rich get richer because they understand how to legally not pay taxes. Because it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep. Why did I leave my 9 to 5 in corporate America to start my business? Taxes. I get better tax benefits by being an entrepreneur. Why did I decide to buy an investment property instead of living, a lifestyle where I was renting, but I wasn't making any money? Taxes. I'm able to make write-offs every year based upon my investment property. If I want to set up a new AC unit in the property, that's a tax write-off. If I install a new sprinkler system, it's a tax write-off. Okay. 9 to 5 employees are the most taxed people in the US. What I mean when I say the most taxed people, I mean employee income is the most taxable form of income among the different types of income in the world. You got to understand, not all money is the same. The rich get richer because they know this and they adjust their income streams accordingly, but the poor get poorer because they've been programmed. Oh, if you want to make money, all you got to do is go after the most taxable type of income streams. We got to know how to play this game. It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep. The fourth reason why the rich get richer is because they're constantly learning. Warren Buffett, when he was in his prime, he would read over 1,000 pages per day. This is the reason why some billionaires have jets. They'll go in the jet just to read the entire time as they go to and fro doing their business. They want to be in a position to focus. But see, the reason why they would study so much is because you have to learn where the economy is going. You got to know what's happening in the marketplace so that way you can capitalize on it. Do you realize that if Warren Buffett decides to increase the price of Coca-Cola by only a few cents, that man will make millions more? Tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions. You got to learn how to do that. The masses of the people have no idea how to make those kinds of moves. And this is the reason why the fifth thing that the rich do is they grow their network. They're able to build wealth and create an estate for their family because they realize that their network is their net worth. Okay. If you're still hanging around people that don't care at all about money, they're not concerned about leaving a legacy, how do you ever think that you're going to be in a position to build wealth? You hang around 5 poor people, you're bound to be the 6th. And this is not in anything of judging anybody, because I don't believe that people should be judged by their money. But what I'm saying is, if you have your goals in your life, your goals are yours, nobody else's. If you know you want to be able to do things like pay for your kids to go to college, you need to have a plan in place to do it, because the average college graduate is graduating with tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt. If you want to be able to take your family on vacations, if you want to be able to live in a neighborhood where you don't have people shooting night after night, you got to be putting plans in place to do that. It's not going to happen by magic. So if you want to get there, you got to level up, increase your learning, and make sure that you build your network. Last but not least, the rich get richer because once the chosen few do get to that $1 million status, you know what they did before that? They set up life insurance. A lot of families are making money through life insurance because the money flows from one generation to the next. Now, like I said, 80% of all millionaires currently are first-time self-made, but there's a 20% that's millionaires based upon what's been handed down to them. How do you think they handed that money down? Do you think that $1 million was sitting in somebody's checking account?
Nope.
Do you think it was $1 million in somebody's shoebox under the bed?
Nope.
That $1 million was in their life insurance policies. They set up systems to where if anything happened to the major breadwinners, they would be able to pass down money throughout future generations. Remember, it says in the Bible, a good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children. Even if you don't make a lot of money, you could still leave behind a lot of money to create generational wealth through life insurance. And this is one of the biggest reasons why I decided to get my insurance license. So that way I could be of more value to you. I don't want to just tell you about all the ways to go out here and make it. I want to help you do it. Okay. And so, for those of you guys that want to know how to do these things, that's what we're going to talk about on this show even more. Okay. But I just want to make sure that y'all took out all of the gems that came from this lesson. Make sure to watch it over and over. If all you do is follow what I told you today, you will be that much closer towards building wealth for you and your family. Now, I've been talking long enough. I want to see if we're going to have a panel discussion. If there's any of you guys that want to chime in on this to give me your thoughts on why the rich get richer, maybe there's something I left out, make sure that you join the panel. I'm putting the link in the comments below. Please make sure that you get on camera and let me know your thoughts, okay? If you have yet to do so, y'all, please do me a favor and smash that like button. If you have yet to do so, please make sure that you donate. Your donations go a very long way towards keeping this channel on air, okay? Guys, if you've donated through Cash App or PayPal, leave me a comment and let me know that you did so that way I can check my phone and give you the shout out that you deserve. Thank you so much, as always, for all of your support. Now, I was talking a little bit about working with me as far as insurance. Right now, I'm focusing on helping people get their life insurance for those that want to create generational wealth. And I'm also expanding my business and I'm looking to add new people on. So if you love what this channel is about, reach out to me because I'm starting to create new opportunities for us to work together in business where you can also help people create generational wealth and make sure that they protect their legacy for years to come. If you guys want to do that, feel free to send me an email. I'm putting my email in the comments below. All of this is for you guys, okay? All of this is for free. I just need y'all to take advantage of these resources, okay? Last but not least, some of you guys have been asking about my one-on-one coaching. You've been tuning in for a while and you want to be able to work with me privately so that way you can level up in starting your business. If you guys want to work with me, then make sure that you book time for a consultation, okay? I just set up a bunch of new slots for the rest of this month. I'm going to put in the link so that you can do that right now. Okay, so this is the link. I'm putting it in the comments below. You want to book your one-on-one session, feel free to do that now. Okay, when you click this link, it's going to give you access to be able to pick a time and a day to work with me for an hour. And I'll show you what you need to do if you're looking to level up and create generational wealth for you and your family. Okay. So listen, guys, it's been an amazing broadcast. I hope that you guys got a lot out of today's show. Shout out to all of the sponsors of the show. Shout out to my brother Rick Judah. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And shout out to the official sponsor, first time official sponsor on these live shows. I know that she's always really focused on my 0 to 6 figure premier program that I offer to a lot of my students, but now she is on the show. Thank you so much, Lupe, for the $10 sponsorship. Let's give her a hand. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys. Listen, man, I'm out of here. It's definitely been an enjoyable show. Thank you guys so much for tapping in. Oh. Sorry, Lupe. Oh,
Nope.
that was kind of cold. Like right as soon as I was saying it, he just snatched it right up out of my hand. My brother from another mother, man. My brother. Akaman from the boot, Louisiana. He is now holding the top spot for official sponsor with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Ak. Thank you, my brother. You know, this is hard work, man.
Another one.
I appreciate it. I could not do this without your support, King. You said, thank you for sharing your knowledge to our people. You are a very few in our community doing it. And what the brother is saying is true. And I'm going to tell you something, Ak. You know, we always talk about why there aren't more of us in our community that's doing this. And it's not just because, you know, there's not enough of us, you know, that have money or access, education, whatever it may be. It's because how many of us are really ready to support the movement? You know, even when the Most High allows people to go out and educate the community, it's only as good as the people that take something and do something with it. Okay. I could talk on these podcasts till I'm blue in the face, but it means absolutely nothing if you don't take action. So, for those of y'all that are serious about seeing our community get empowered, for those of y'all that do get a lot of value out of this content and you are trying your hardest to apply it, please make sure that you give back at least once to this channel, because it goes a very long way towards keeping this show on air. I give you my time, my money, my labor of love. I'm doing all of this out of love for us. Okay. So thank you so much for all the support and the sponsorship as always. And shout out to the new official sponsor of tonight's broadcast, my brother Ak Aman. Okay. Real quick, is anybody going to top that? Is anybody going to top that? I'm giving it 1 minute. Okay. If you want to be the official sponsor of tonight's broadcast, after seeing all the information that came out, if you want your name to be the official sponsor on this broadcast, then please make sure that you donate. Okay. It's just got to be over $20 and then we'll be good to go. Okay. So thank you so much to my brother Akaman. Really appreciate you as always, man. Thank you so much once again, Lupe. Lupe said, we're serious up in here. Thank you. Hey, that's the only way to be, is to protect you, your family for the times to come. Y'all see how expensive everything is getting. Y'all seeing what's happening with these gas prices, these food prices. I'm doing this for y'all's benefit. So thank you as always so much for your support. Listen, man, I'm out of here. Hopefully I will be back on here tomorrow. Make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you share this broadcast and tell other people about it. I love y'all. I'm praying for much success. Please stay focused and keep pushing.